Today we're in the studio talking about the 4th out of 5 love languages. We've already covered the other 3 love languages from Gary Chapman's book. We'll put a link below to the book. It's a great read if you've never read it. A lot of people have read it. So what's the 4th love language? Tracy, talk us through it.
Okay, so the 4th language is acts of service. So this is the person that loves to do things for other people and loves for other people to do things for them. Simple things around the house, big projects, little projects, but just doing things for someone.
Now this one finally I can relate to, okay?
Yep.
Because this is my love language. For a lot of, I think probably for a lot of guys, again, I don't mean to stereotype, but probably for a lot of guys, this is their love language, acts of service. We're men of action. I love working alongside you. I love sitting in the studio talking through stuff with you to help other couples. That's, you're loving me by doing this as part of your service to me. So this one's a big one for me. I love this one. And I know this is one of yours also. Yeah. So this isn't, for us, this is a little bit of an easier one for us because we both speak this language. And that's probably something couples should talk about is, you know, when there's overlap on a language, that can really be a helpful thing. It's certainly not necessary because remember, love languages are all about speaking the other person's language. But if it's your language already.
Just more natural if it's one of your own.
What are some ways that if you have the gift of, or this is your love language also, what are some ways that I love you with this language?
Well, I think I always appreciate when I come up with a project that requires painting a room or hanging up things that I know is not something you love, but you do it and you always are willing to carve out the time and get the task done because you know that that's important to me. I hate chaos. I don't like my house to be undone. And so I appreciate that you're willing to do that for me.
Yeah. Well, and for me, you know, you cook dinner most nights, every night. I never cook dinner. You clean, you keep a wonderfully clean home. You work so hard with the kids. You work alongside me. There's so much stuff that you do. You're such a diligent person. So here's the question then for you. If there's a spouse who says, this is my spouse's love language, but I'm lazy. Yeah. Right? What would you say to that person?
That sounds a little harsh, not lazy, but just, you know, again, for some people, it's not natural to think about how do you serve someone because, you know, you're both working hard, you're both tired or whatever. So, I mean, I think I've picked up on over the years things that are important to you. And so even if it's like ironing shirts that I hate to iron, but I know that means something to you when you go in the closet and you see shirts that you could actually take off the hanger and put on. So those are some of the things that I pick on about for you. I oftentimes will do yard work when I know you've had a busy week and I'll fill in for that and do things that I know are serving you. So it's something that's off your list. But again, like we've said with all of these, if that's the language of your spouse, ask them the things that really speak the most about serving them. Because if you're doing things that they're not even noticing, well, then maybe that's not quite what they mean by acts of service.
Yeah, and I think is thinking about this for men in particular. I know a lot of men, and maybe women, this is helpful for you to hear this, who because this really is the only way they know how to love someone. You know, they're going to work for their kids to bring home money for their kids, and maybe they're not great at verbalizing things. Maybe they need to grow in some of the other love languages. But in this particular one, I think it's helpful for a kid to know, for a spouse to know, like, you know, maybe my husband or maybe my dad struggles expressing love in other ways, but man, just the consistency of working hard and that sort of thing. This is one of those things that when you just think of the sort of the typical man out there, you know, the old-fashioned man, maybe a little bit rough around the edges. This was his love language, right?
But see, that's to me the beauty of why this was brilliant, that he came up with the 5 love languages, because I think for a lot of marriages out there, whether it's the husband or the wife, they're just serving and doing all the time, whether it's working, you know, whatever, whether it's taking the garbage out, and that isn't recognized as a way of showing love, then the other spouse is missing that all those efforts are because of love, because they want to serve and they want to help the family and further the family. So that's why I think it's brilliant to identify your language so that you don't miss when your spouse is doing something out of love, because it's not really speaking to you in a loving way, but it's how they've expressed it. So again, that's just the key here to the whole book is it's informative to know your own language because it's going to tell you and explain to you why you choose to show love the way you do. But the other piece of it is learning to speak the language of your spouse.
Yeah. But a challenge on this topic to men out there for whom this is the only love language that they know. Learn the other ones because love is all about speaking the other person's language, loving them in a way that they will receive it, not just in the way that you most naturally give it.
Right. So if you want to have, this is good for all of us to remember that it's not going to be helpful for you to just say, to me, well, my language is acts of service and I do plenty of that. Right. I work hard, I do this, so I'm not really interested. I don't have any more energy to give towards your other languages. Right. That's not the right heart. That's not the way it should be. Yeah. Again, the heart should be a selfless, sacrificial love is that you're willing to find out and love your spouse the way they need to be loved. Yeah, that's good. All right, so that was the fourth love language, acts of service. And in the next video, we're going to do the last one. There's one more of the 5. And remember, this is all part of a 6-week series that you can check out, and there are short videos just like this one and discussion questions below so that you can talk about it with your spouse, with your marriage mentor, with a small group, or even just with a friend. So we'll see you in the next video.